Alright, first off we gotta go over the differences. Jehovah. Say Jehovah, that's God's name, versus JEHOVAH, which is the name Jay-Z uses. To get to the bottom of this, we gotta first look at what does Jehovah mean. And to do that, we gotta go back to the Hebrew tetragrammaton, the 4 Hebrew consonants that represent the Creator's name. Or the W. Four Hebrew consonants that make up the Creator's name. Now for the people who don't know, the Y in English is sometimes a J. Okay? And because it was consonants, they had to put vowels inside of them in order to make it a word in the English. So that's where you get the A, the O, and the other A is a Jehovah, or J, or some people use the E, the Jehovah. And that's where the name came from. And that's how they came about creating the name. You see, I probably could draw that a little better. Draw a little better for you. So they put something in between so that it became a word or a name or a title or whatever. Okay, now what does this mean? That's the next thing. What does it mean? Okay, so this part right here, I use another color. This part right here, okay, or this part, the Y-A-H, Jah. This right here means self. Self-existent. He alone self-exists. The only one who self-exists. That's what, in a different language, Yah might mean something else, but in the Hebrew from which this comes from, it means self-existent. Okay, that's what it means. This is what it means, that first part. He who self-exists. Now, what does the Va mean, or some people say Wa? What does that mean? That means the last part, the Va or the Wa. What does that mean? That means, I want to put it under here, I probably should put this over here, but that means ever existing. That's what that means. It means ever existing. In other words, self-exists and always will exist. He's the only one. I tried to look it up on the Google, and they didn't even want to. They wanted to give me praise, Yah. They wanted to send me the ever present, I was like, no, I want ever existing. They didn't want to show it to me. You know, he's the only one that can use that title, self-exists and ever exists. The only one. That's why it's his name, because he's the only one that fits that title. Just anyone else that uses that is a liar. They can't use it together like that. The full name, you can't use it together like that. In fact, the first part of the name, no one can use but him as well. Just self-exists, self-existent. That's why it's his name. Okay, now let me break down Jay-Z, what he did. All right. So Jay-Z, he switched this part. Okay. This is what he did. He took this part out. This part. This is what he did. He took this part out of the name. And what did he do? He put J. But I'm doing it because Hebrew is backwards. Just so you know, it's like, I think to my knowledge it's written. You write it this way instead of the other way. So he put JEHOVAH, which basically just means J will live forever. That's the definition of what he did. Now, some might ask, well, how would God think about, God's going to get him for that, God's going to destroy him for that? Why? I mean, so just so you don't know, if you're not a believer and you don't read the Bible, everybody had, all of the followers of God has somehow his name intertwined with theirs. But usually, a lot of them, they don't, they will. So that's just the nature of it. It's like they're saying, you know, the earth doesn't revolve around you. Well, the universe actually does revolve around the Most High. So when you get to the hereafter, you'll find that because everything revolves around him, that it's cool to be associated with him in some kind of way. Therefore, people, they call themselves, they took on the name, or they was given the name, this of his, or Yah arm, or, you know, God's leg, or God's foot, or God's, I'm saying God, but I'm meaning, you know, Yah, as in the tetragrammaton. They took on his arm, his leg, his foot, in which case you're supposed to live up to that title. It's an honorable, it's like a royal name, you know, and in which case you hear in the Bible they have Jeremiah, you know, Isaiah, you know, and that's, they incorporated the name Elijah, they incorporated the name into their name as an honorable thing, because he is the it of the universe. And so do you think that the Most High would be mad at Jay-Z for doing that? No. Why would he? And technically he could actually fulfill this almost. If he get to the hereafter, he can exist forever, you know, and probably still make music, realistically. So I was going to go over a few more, but I'm going to let you just have that for right now. You know, it's not blasphemous, you know, is in the wording. I don't know his meaning or his purpose, his motive for why he did it, but it's not blasphemous from the sense of, you know, taking on the name Vah or Hovah, or, you know what I'm saying, incorporating the Most High's name inside of your name. My name has it in it, you know. So just something for y'all to think about, you know, always, for like